Oh, hi guys, Howard again. And today we're looking at my Voigtlander Vitomatic 2, another German gem. The Vitomatic models went through various iterations between 1958 and 1969, but the models between 1964 and 69 were really a completely different camera. So this video really only covers the Vitomatic 2 and 2A models from 1958 through to 1963. The most desirable of these is the 2A with the Ultron f2 50mm lens. Unfortunately, I don't own one of these, so we're just going to have to be satisfied with the Color Scopar f2.8 50mm for this review. Mind you, the Color Scopar is generally very highly regarded. I think it's a Tessar design, but I haven't been able to confirm this. The camera is quite compact, but very heavy, just on 800 grams. It's built like a little tank. The quality is fabulous, German engineering at its very best. If you like this review and consider buying one, try to get the 2A model, as the metering is also within the viewfinder. Alright, so let's have a closer look. Now the first thing you may notice is the viewfinder is rather unusual. And it's an Albarda design, so that incorporates a rather clever mirror with a small white frame on a piece of celluloid somewhere mounted within, and when you look through it from the back, the white frame just frames the shot beautifully. We've got the rangefinder window and the selenium cell, which still works perfectly, so I'm very lucky there. Mind you, quite a few of my old cameras with selenium cells still work, so I've probably been a bit lucky in that regard. Okay, so let's have a look at the lens. It's a Color Scopar f2.8 50mm by Voigtlander, a lovely lens. Now we've got a depth of field scale, as you can see around there. I'll just spin the camera around. Okay, so right up the front is the focusing ring. So it goes from just under 1 meter through to infinity. Like a lot of German cameras, it's got a couple of little quirks to it. Little red triangle there is for street photography, really. So if you're using, say, f8, everything from 7 meters through to about 2¼ meters will be in focus. And if you're shooting at a longer distance quickly, if you're still using f8, everything from well beyond infinity back through to about 4 meters will be in focus. Now that's fine for quick shots, but really if you're trying to be as accurate as possible, it's best to use the rangefinder. Okay, the next thing we've got here is the aperture ring from 2.8 through to 22. Now if you watch the meter over here, you'll notice that as I move that ring, there's a little arm with a white circle on it, and that moves back and forth. And the idea is to put the circle over the little arrow, which I hope you can see. It's over it now. So really this is a shutter priority system. So it's pretty dark in here, so let's say put on 1/4 second, and as you can see the correct setting is about f4. But if you want to use 2.8, you just use this ring, and it gives you just 2.6 1/8. 2.8 as an eighth, or 5.6 1/4, or 8 1/2, etc. So that doesn't really move the meter. So you set your speed, and then you match the needle using the aperture. Now, the speeds go from a 300th around to a second and B, but there's also a scale that extends past that, 4, 8, 15, 30 and 60, and these are actually seconds. So it's just a calculator. So if you're shooting this on a tripod, say at dusk, and you're able to get a reading of 2.8, let's say 1/4, and you're able to get that sort of a reading, and you've got a tripod with a shutter release, you can pop it on the tripod, and you might want a lot more depth of field than 2.8 is going to give you. So you can go around, so I want to use f16, well, it's 8 seconds, or f22 would be 15 seconds. So it's just a little calculator to help that sort of shooting at dusk with a tripod. It's I don't know how many people have ever used this, but anyhow, it's there. I guess they felt it balanced up the printing on the shutter ring a bit. We've got V, X and M here. V is a self-timer. I wouldn't risk using that because if something goes wrong with it, could lock up the whole camera. X is for electronic flash. M is for bulb. It's a cold shoe on top, so if you're going to shoot a flash, you're going to have to use the flash lead, and here's the little post down here to put the lead onto. Okay. All right, so let's cover that. Let's have a look at the top. So on the top we've got the film rewinder, a film reminder built into the top of the rewind knob. To release the rewind knob, which as you can see is flush, just pull this little tab back and up it pops. Now by popping up, it also disengages the drive mechanism, so there's nothing else to do. You just pop it up and rewind it. There's no extra button to release, on the bottom of the camera to release the film or anything like that. It's all in one action. On the back, we've got the very nice wind lever. Now, there's a sacrificial film in this because unless you've got a film in them, they don't work. They require a film to be able to cock them and shut them via the shutter. Here's the back of the Albarda viewfinder. It's a full-size viewfinder, so when you look through it, things are at their normal size, and that little silver frame you see there is framing the picture right up at the front. It's a very clever system. I'm not sure quite how they do it, but it works beautifully. We've got, made in West Germany there on the back. We've got a couple of nice strap lugs on the front. Now, if we look underneath, it's quite complex. Big hinge, locking mechanism. We've got the film frame counter. So you just, if you put a new, say, 36-shot film in, well, you wouldn't be this far back, but you just take it around to the F, and then put the film in, and it counts down. Standard 1/4-inch tripod socket. Okay, so we'll open the back. So we pull this little tab down, turn that clockwise, it comes up, and the back opens. So there we are. This film is dead, so don't worry about it. So as you can see, very nicely made, nice pressure plate, beautifully engineered, quite simple to load, very standard loading technique. So anything else? It's just lovely to look at. This is to push that in to change the ASA for the metering, and it's around, there's a DIN reading there and an ASA reading there, and you push that in and then turn it, and you can change the film speeds in there. Okay, now luckily when I got it, I got a lovely leather case with a separate case for the lens hood, which is absolutely an absolute work of art. It's a nice push-on 32mm lens hood, and it came with a filter, a yellow filter as well. And the quality of the leather case was exactly the same as the quality of the camera, just beautiful. Just while I think of it, just give you an idea of how compact this little camera is. I'll compare it with my Vitomatic 9, which was fairly standard for the time, size-wise, for a rangefinder camera. And as you can see, it's much more compact than the Vitomatic, and it's heavier too. Okay, well, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe and ring the bell. It costs you nothing, and it's always nice to get some positive feedback. Anyhow, thanks again, and Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one.